Hello leaders, my name is Dayo Israel and I'm excited to be here at the Dream Academy in Lagos. It's been fantastic all week I've had, and this is going to be phenomenal. Another fantastic session. I'm going to be doing 2 sessions today. My first session is on global thinking, how to expand your mind and think beyond where you are to where you want to be and what actually you've been created to do, and how to think local, meaning thinking global and local at the same time, and acting global and local at the same time. You've got to let it be cosmopolitan, and that's what my first session is going to be focused on. Second session, I'm going to be speaking about charisma and confidence. You can never achieve global success until you embrace charisma and confidence, because people have got to believe in you after you believed in yourself. You can't sell a product you don't believe in successfully, except you've got to believe in yourself for people to believe in you. I hope that you will join us and be impacted and empowered with this message and this DVD. Thank you. Good afternoon. Are you fired up? Yes. Ready to go? Yes. So say after me, fired up. Fired up. Ready to go. Ready to go. I'm fired up. Fired up. And I'm ready to go. Ready to go. Look at your neighbor and say, I'm fired up. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Are you fired up? I am fired up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Now answer your neighbor. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. Good to meet you. My name is Dayo Israel and I'm excited to be here this afternoon. I am more excited because of who I'm speaking for, who is hosting this event. My brother Daniel Oluwatoyinbo is one of the most fantastic gentlemen and young men of this generation that I've ever met. I hardly get impressed, and my staff will tell you, my PA had on a status 3 days ago, said, I did an assignment in the office and ADI looked at it without making any correction and said, good job. He said, I am excited and happy because it doesn't commend you very easily. And you can't blame me. At 16, to the glory of God, I had about 20 staffs. I had been to about 70 nations, at least over 40. I had met over 60 heads of government. So if I had done that at 16, when a lot of people in my generation, considering my background, I grew up down the road from here in Oyingbo. So for you to come and try to impress me, you really must be doing a lot of work. And so I hardly commend. And when my staff wonders, and it's actually, I believe in commendation, but I say to them that, see, I want you to be the best. I'm better than me, so I've got to stretch you. Everybody say, stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. In life, until you stretch yourself, you can never be the best in life. Nigeria is too condensed around people who are comfortable with the environment. They believe that things must just go a certain way. But we understand that life does not give you what you deserve, but it gives you only what you demand of it. And you demand, or you deserve more from life. Life for you and every one of us must be better than where we find ourselves today. And so every day we keep fighting, we keep doing our best, playfully, with fun, but making sure that at the end of our lives, we will not regret the things that we hoped for but never had attempt to achieve. But if we have any regret at all, we would only regret the things at which we failed. At least we made an attempt to do them. I want to speak to you this afternoon on something that is very important to me. But before that, I have the privilege of, let me say a big thank you to Mrs. Jobmag. I've met this young lady today and I'm impressed and I'm inspired, and I think you should give her a big round of applause. I think she's a role model to many young people, especially the female gender. I am very passionate. Half of my staff are female. Actually, that's wrong. 97% of my staff are female. I find them more effective. I find them that they can produce more results than men can. I have male staff that you have to ginger a lot, but women are passionate about what they do, I've realized. And stop hating, guys. I'm not against you. I'm just saying that a lot of our female genders are very passionate, and if you find the best set of females in your team, they produce a lot more result than the male gender can. And men, I think we also have the ability to. We're just comfortable and lazy. We need to push ourselves and be much better. And I believe by the grace of God that this job mark center would increase mightily. Amen. In Jesus' name. And I want to say a big thank you to Pastor Dami for having me here. It's also great to see my brother Kunle here. So I'm a politician on the side. So when we give speeches in government, we always have to go through protocol. We do Your Excellency, we greet all the governors, all the commissioner, minister, then you greet ladies and gentlemen of the press, and then you go ladies and gentlemen. So I think I'm done with protocol. I will be talking from that other young people and the destiny of nation in the afternoon, talking about global thinking. I'm very passionate about nations. As a matter of fact, when I sign my signature, on emails, most of the time, my favorite is called Inspiring Nations. You know, instead of writing yours sincerely or yours faithfully, I just sign out by saying Inspiring Nations, Dayo Israel. I'm compassionate. I'm very passionate about nation. I tell young people that there's more to life than your local government or your borough. There's a scripture verse that says, ask of me, and I will give nations for your inheritance. And I wonder why people are still local champions in their local government. But we will come back to that in the afternoon. We have one titled Nameless Hero that I know two great people who have done fantastically well. You might not know their name today. One was an housemaid to Naaman's wife, and all she did was have information and said, I know somebody in Israel who can heal my master. There was another one, was Saul's houseboy, and he said to Saul too, sir, I know a prophet who can tell us where your camel is. And that same person was never named, but all he had was information. What do you know determines where you're going to get. Nameless Hero. I have this one I love so much. It's called Waiting You Carry. I'll talk about that now. And it's very key. If you get any of the DVD, I think if there's a lot of that, you should get that. You cannot have confidence and charisma until you know what you carry. I walk confidently. I do things confidently. There's some things I will tell my driver not to do when I'm not in the car, because he probably does not carry what I carry. You need to know what you carry. It reflects on what you do, what you say, how you relate with people, and what you can do. And the final one is titled Special Strength for the Journey Ahead. Let's go to why we're here. I know they don't want me to pass that place, but I don't think I have a choice. In life, no matter how fantastic your ideas are, no matter how great your visions are, no matter how unique whatever you want to achieve is, I've realized that the first thing that you need to first get together in life that draws people to you and attracts people to you is your charisma. I have a problem with relating to people. I said somebody the other day, and I looked her straight in the face and said, "A Yoruba, oh, Neo Yaya." In other words, you're not receptive to people. You don't relate to people easily and happily, excited. And the reason is because you lack self-confidence. You're scared that people are going to misuse your hospitality or your openness. So when you look at people and their attitude and their character, you can tell what is going on in the inside of them. I love a verse of the scripture, and I will keep referring to scriptural verses because I grew up. People ask me a lot, why are you here? How did you get here? I get that question a lot. And I said, I grew up looking at the scriptures as a model for lifestyle. So I love stories. I love reading. But I don't read Ezekiel or Jeremiah. I go to Chronicles. First Chronicles and Second Chronicles, and read the stories of people who did great things, kings. Young people at the age of 9, of 11, of 18, of 17, of 25, who were becoming prime ministers and kings in their time. And that inspired me to aspire for greatness despite my background. And I realized that, see, if you were born if you were raised in a poor environment and you want people to take you serious, you must be able to show that you are worth taking serious. I'll give you an example. I'm privileged to be on the young side. So I'm not yet 30. I'm not as old as Pastor Dami. So when you are very successful and you're young, there is a tendency for people to disrespect you. There's a tendency for people to look at what have you got. So if you want to be taken serious and you want the real deal, you've got to have one key thing, which we call confidence. Somebody wrote me an email about 3 weeks after I went to see the Queen. It was there on the same day. As a matter of fact, Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo was coming from the inner chamber of the Royal Palace. And the son and myself went to school together at Toby. So he bumped into me and I said, Daddy, how are you, sir? I said, what are you doing here? How did you get here? He couldn't believe that I was in the Buckingham Palace to see the Queen, and he was wondering, this small boy that used to, throw around and try to do something out of his life. And someone wrote me an email a few weeks after and said, what were you discussing with the Queen that you stood with her face to face, standing like this, like I was talking to a chick, and we're talking, she was standing for 15 minutes thereabout, and we were conversing, talking about life, talking about politics, talking about Africa. And every other person that was around, seeing the Queen in Buckingham Palace that day, probably just shook her hand and she walked past. Where did the confidence come from? I was meeting in New York. I was probably 16 years old. And I walked up to Nelson Mandela. I said, my name is Dayo Israel. I stretched out my hand. They said, don't take pictures because the camera can affect his eyes. And I asked him, can I take a picture with you? And I conversed him, said, well, if I said I'm from Nigeria. He said, I know your president. He calls me every day. That's what he said. Obasanjo was still in government then. And we started talking. And people look at me and say, why do you do things that people... I remember this was very real. We were in Portugal for a meeting. The Prime Minister was there, the President was there, the President of the EU was there. I have the picture of that meeting. And as soon as they finished, they were leaving, and I walked up to the President of Portugal, Carvalho. And I shook hands with him, and I said, I'd like to have a conversation with him and take a picture with him. And everybody in the hall looked at me and said, what kind of guy is this? Where do you get I remember somebody said, where did you get Israel? Where did you get the confidence from? How did you walk up to a president like that? It's come from an inside that is strongly built to believe that that person might be a president today, but I'm something. In life, until you believe strongly in yourself, until you believe strongly in your ability, until you overcome everything that is holding you down, to believe that your background, your story, your history is irrelevant when it comes to your future. Most of these stories, I was still living in a room and parlor on Kano Street in Oyinbo. So when I come to Nigeria, I used to go to my family in a room and parlor in Kano Street in Oyinbo. Yes. But you know the thing is that people expect because you're average or because you're poor or because you don't have enough that you have to be humble. Many people you think are humble today are naturally not humble. They are circumstantially humbled by poverty. Is it Hebrew? Chapter 3 verse 31. Is it Hebrew? I've forgotten the book. It says, do not cast away your confidence, because it has great recompense of reward. In other words, there is a reward for confidence. There was a big mighty guy, big warrior, won the black belt, won everything. He's been a warrior from his youth. And a small boy came and said, I can bring that joker down. It wasn't much about what he said, but how he said it. It's not about what you say, but how you say what you're saying. And it's how you say it that is called the charisma. You can be confident enough to say, to believe it in your mind, but you need the charisma to be able to present it. So it works hand in hand. And many people are not taking a step for the dreams of their life because they might believe it, they might be convinced about it, but they're not confident enough. And you're not confident enough when you have fears of failure. What if I walk up to that lady? What if she says no? I said, people, there's no lady, no matter what she is, and I cannot take on a date in this world. There is none. Confidence is what makes somebody just look at you and will necessarily not smile at you, but just can't resist your charm. I have one of my Blackberries, and the name I have there is Official Prince Charming, OPC. It's magnetic. It's a force. I will give you 7 points on how to improve your confidence and your charisma. But before I go into that, I want to lay a foundation to let you understand that, say, you would only be able to get to where you want to be when you are confident and charismatic, irrespective of what is in your bank account. I can have a 0 in my bank account and walk out of my car confidently and charismatically, and you would think that I'm a multi-billionaire.
That's right.
Confidence and charisma is not about what you have, but what you have the ability to have. It's different from pride. It's not pride. People take it overboard and they become prideful. It's not pride. It's just understanding the ability that, like I said in the title, my DVD, Waiting You Carry, that you're carrying something. I'm trying not to speak scripturally because I know that it's not a church event or something, but permit me, can I just say a story or two from the scriptures? I want to share with you the story of David for a beginning. Everybody was scared. Everybody was worried. Everybody had no idea what to do. The prime minister, who was the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, has no idea what to do. But a little boy somewhere comes up and said, give me that joker. And he looked at him and said, can you say what you've just said before the king? He said, I will repeat it 1,000,000 times. Let's go. And he walked in before the king. At that moment, his age was irrelevant. He was 17. At that moment, his background was irrelevant. At that moment, his history was irrelevant. At that moment, his mistakes was irrelevant. What was relevant was that he had confidence enough and faith enough to believe that he had the ability to make a difference. My question to you is that, do you have enough faith to believe that you have the ability to make a difference? Your confidence is built in your ability to believe that you can actually create a resolute change and produce result. It's what drives you to be able to go to somebody and say, sir, I need 7 million for this project and I believe that I can deliver. 7 million. And it looks at you, you came there. But do you know that when you have confidence, they will not look at what you are wearing. It would play a role. I will come back to that. That comes into charisma. But at first, your words can be so magnetic that they're not considered by anything else but what you are saying. I have done many great things as an under 18, as a child, that people had never believed if we had not had videos and pictures to prove it. Without thinking of our background or where we came from, but we just believe strongly in our ability to make a difference. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in yourself? It reflects in what you say and the way that you talk and the way that you speak. Are you still scared? There are two types of success or fears. There is the fear of failure and the fear of success. So let me tell you about the fear of failure and the fear of success. Number one, the fear of success is the fear that what if it doesn't end well? When people are scared of prosperity, of greatness, and of wealth because they are scared that what if it doesn't work out well? What if I fail along the way? Do you know when you're being nice to somebody who's been abused and broken-hearted, they are scared to receive your support and your hospitality because they think that, like the other people who have betrayed them in the past, you will do the same thing to them. When you're nice to somebody, she starts thinking, it's only you are going to leave me soon because everybody else has left her before. Fear of success. And people don't want to succeed because they are scared that they are going to fail after success. And people don't want an assignment. When things start going good for them, when things start getting positive, when things start getting excellent, they are scared that it might not last. It's worse than the fear of failure. Because these ones don't actually believe that it will last. What type of fears are you having? What type of fears? Many leaders don't have fear of failure. They're having fears of success. Many of you are aspiring to do something big and very great. You want to be excellent. You want to be impactful. But you know, many people, although they say it, don't necessarily believe that it can happen to them. And when you're confident enough and you believe so much in yourself, it shows in how you adorn yourself. My brother-in-law in London lost the contract because of the pen he used in writing at the meeting. Multi-million pounds contract because of the pen he used in writing. When you're confident about yourself and you believe in yourself, you've got to use your charisma to pass your message. Nobody wants to listen to you. I have built most of my greatest networks today by just walking up to somebody nobody else would want to sit with. They have protocols next to them. I was in a protocol lounge one day, presidential lounge one day, and the governor was sitting across me, and I walked up to the governor and everybody else looked at me. They wanted to see the governor, but they could not stand up to walk up to the governor. And so when you stand up, they do not begin to stand up. But I would not have actually stood up to see the governor if I wasn't confident in what I'm wearing. I don't joke with what I wear. It's part of your charisma. It's the foundation. It's the foundation of your charisma. Let me tell you why you love David, that gentleman. When he wears a suit and he's trying to put his pocket hanky, I look at this guy and say, is it only you? Swag tipo Jew. I always have multiple clothes in my car, multiple shirts, multiple everything. And my grandma wonders why I have about 6 shoes in my car. You know, I say, why would you wear this and that? People are dangerous, they could steal your things and all that. Yes, they've stolen my shoes in my car before. I went out recently with somebody and I looked down and I saw the shoe he was wearing. It was mine. I said, that's my shoe. He said, is it yours? I said, yes, it's mine. He said, the day I was helping you to do something, I just thought maybe you don't need it again. But let me tell you the good part of that is that I look at myself, appraisal, And I said, am I confident in what I'm wearing? That if I wear this to meet myself, would I grant myself an audience? I don't believe in people wearing a shirt without a blazer. Wear a long sleeve shirt. Yeah? If I wear what I'm wearing without this blazer, I will not be comfortable with myself. I hang blazers on all the chairs. Some people, that might be what gives them confidence. But people must be able to look at you, compare it to what you say, and find a correlation. You can't want to seal $1 million deal from the back of a taxi. I want to see a very big Nigerian in Ikoyi one day. After talking about all the big business, he walked me down to my car. Luckily for me, at that time I had not brought a car to Nigeria, but I told my friend, can you please drive me to this meeting? Normally I would have just thought I would come down and then go out of his compound and go to the gate and get a taxi. But he walked me downstairs. Elderly man, he has an elevator in his house. The elevator takes him up and down. Not an office, his house. Because he's an old man. What's this place in Ikoyi? Parkview Estate. The man got on the elevator and walked me back downstairs just to see the car I came with. I've heard stories of people who go to apply for loans in the bank, 50 million. And as soon as they're going, the bank manager peeps through the window to see what car they get into. Because they want to be sure that when you get the 50 million, you're not going to use that first part of that money to buy a new car for yourself. Somebody came to my house the other day and looked at my garage and did this. I said, I know here. He said, you, small, like big cars. I wonder, what are you doing with a Jaguar? When I brought my first car to Nigeria. My mother followed me to church. No, my mother has this thing, all this old woman. So she said, okay, you must go to your pastor. She started calling their pastors to come and bless it. It took me like 20 pastors. This is real. So we got there and said, oh, Dayo just brought one of his cars to Nigeria. And the man was literally coming down to pray for the car, thinking it was a Datsun or a Primera. And so when he got to the car, the first thing he said was, wow, this is big. Glory to God. This is great. He first started saying this is great, this is big, and then went on to say this is great. Now I don't invest in cars because I am flamboyant. I don't invest in cars because I have too much money, but because it's a part of the component that makes up my charisma. The people I relate with, the people I talk to, the people I spend time around are people of value. You must be concerned about your relationship, your association, your circle. When I was growing up, I didn't have any sport. Today I play polo and golf. It's not because I was born rich or raised rich, but we realized that the circle of influence that I desire to network with, that is their interest. So every time I'm in Abuja, I call my friend, we go play polo. We play golf. I have friends. I work now in the diplomatic community. I have friends who are staff of diplomatic missions, embassies, consulars, and I just text them, hey Donald, what are you doing this weekend? Let's go play polo. And then one of my friends, who was an economic advisor in one of the mission, economic advisor to one of the ambassadors, one of the missions in Nigeria, texted and said, Dayo, what are you doing on this weekend? I have one of our staff in the embassy is having a performance in Abuja at one big hall like that, an orchestra. Would you like to come? Oh, I said, why not? I met a guy on the train in London who was going out of London carrying a big orchestra, what is it called? And I started a conversation with him, and we became friends. I realized that he was playing at the BBC Symphony Orchestra in central London at the Barbican. So he invited me, and since then I started going to the Barbican to watch live orchestra. Now, when I grew up, orchestra was uninteresting to us. The only If we ever, I don't even know if we had anything. You understand? But I had to learn new things. I had to open myself up to new things. So today, I was talking to my friend Timida Kolo 2 days ago. And he said, oh, Dayo, let's hook up. I said, what do you have in Lagos? I think that was why if you remember my BB, you probably see, instead of when I said Nigeria has no fun. It was in conversation with Timmy, and I said, you know, where do you hang out? It says VI, Lekki. And I said, okay, I don't like hanging out in Ikoyi, but this is what I love doing. What do you love doing? He said, okay, maybe a few. Okay, you know what? Let's look at this. Now, because see, by the time you start conversing with people, they want to know what kind of value do you, are you valuable? What kind of things do you do? Where do you relate? All these things matters. Pastor Dami, when I started living in London, I would go on the train to Canning Town. There's a Marriott on Park in Canning Town. I would sit down there. I would ask for a gulp of water, which is free. And I would start drinking. That was where I became friends with Cindy Trims. I met her in the lobby of the Marriott. That's how we became friends. Very good American preacher. And we started talking. Let me tell you, sometimes I'll bring friends there and we sit down. When you eat in that Marriott, they start by serving you a basket like this of bread. Bread is free in hotels, bread and water. And that's my main course. So we just go down and sit down because I'd rather spend my last 1,000 buying a glass of water at the Hilton than buying a meal at Rockview. I'd rather spend my last 1,000, let me use Lagos, to buy a glass of water at maybe Protea or Sheraton by 4 Point than to buy a meal in Mr. Biggs, because the kind of people that I want to meet. What kind of sports do they play? What kind of food do they eat? What kind of games do they do? What do they wear? What kind of cars do they drive? And so I'm careful of being seen as an aristocrat, but I desire to be great and posh. When I was growing up, I would usually go to the bus stop and read Ovation magazine. I would pay the guy 15 naira just to look through it. And I look at all the big houses and the big cars and everything. And that helped me to move beyond my poverty in my environment to aspire for greatness. And to the glory of God, we are where we are today as a result of that. But we have to build ourselves into where we want to be. I didn't get here one day. It takes a lot of process. See, all these little components are what forms your charisma. They are what builds your confidence. They are what makes you who you are, your new person. The type of things that you do. And sometimes it might mean that you have to deny yourself of some things, including friends. It might mean that you have to, because I realize that, say, if you have to enter this new level of relationship, you've got to move away from the friends who their social life is to eat pepper soup. If you want to grab those who go play polo for fun, you've got to be willing to take risk. Let me tell you something about me playing polo. When I started, I went to Babbage about 4 years ago. And then we sat down on a horse in Babbage, and the guy started riding the horse. And I said, please stop, I wanted to faint. I could not stand riding a horse. But when I met a friend who was very influential, I up there, and I realized that, wait a minute, what does he do for fun? So play polo. So I went with him the first time, and I said to the guy there, what is the rule of horse riding? And he taught me the rule, and I went round the polo club for like 1 hour myself, alone on the horse. And when I came back, controlling the horse, I told him when to stop, when to run, when to do everything. They could not believe, and from then on, I started playing polo. You can imagine how people I've taken to polo club, I've met there, and that relationship I built there. I see all these things humbly. I want to be real with you, and I'm sharing practical experiences. People wonder sometimes, when I fly local, I see no reason to fly upper class. But when I fly international, especially when I'm not paying for it, and when I'm paying for it and I think that is expedient, I always make sure that I fly upper class. And it's not out, yes, the bed in economic class can be really bad on your back. But it's not about that. It's about the people that you meet. It's about the relationship that you build. And those are all what forms your charisma. It's about the network. Sometimes you have to stop to deny yourself flying 5 times in a year economy so that you can fly 1 time business or first class. But I would tell you that the people that you will meet on that first class, can change your life forever. There was a gentleman, he was going to the pastor in TSP, Magodo. Pastor usually give him money. Every time, pastor gives him money. So one day, he said to the pastor was tired of helping him. I think Pastor Moses or something like that, Magodo here. And the guy came to pastor and said, Pastor, I want to go to Abuja. I want to go and look for a better life. And asking for one last money. The man said, thank God, at least you won't come to me every week to disturb me again. So gave him money for his flight ticket. When I saved him money, bought a flight ticket and went to Abuja. On his plane to Abuja, it was election period. I think it was 2010, 2011. On the plane to Abuja, the guy met somebody on the plane, a highly influential Nigerian on the plane. When he met him, they began to talk, and the guy asked him a question. Can you supply biro? And the guy said, yes, of course. I can supply biro confidently. And they said, we will need you to supply us 1 million biro for the election campaign. See me in my office tomorrow. By the week after, the guy became a multi-billionaire. This man, just biro. Just biro. And let me shock you. This guy, it was his last money in his life. If he was a poor-minded person, how would he have gone to Abuja? By road. But he changed his mindset and bought a flight ticket. He was not going to have a little change on him, but he said, see, if I'm going to go to Abuja and make something out of myself, I've got to deny myself. My product says, what you choose to ignore determines what comes to you. What you choose to let go determines what you receive. What are you denying yourself? What are you denying yourself? What sacrifice are you making to build on yourself? It is this building upon yourself that builds your confidence, that makes you understand that you are somebody, you're a person of value. You work on what you wear. Because people look at you. When I see somebody, when I look at a lady, let me tell you the first time I look at a lady, that makes me know the lady is neat and of good. I don't know if I'm right, but this is what I look at. I look at your toes. If I don't see any toes, I know this person is not, doesn't have it. I look at toes. And so I look at my toes all the time. Somebody said to me, your toes is getting smaller and chubbier. I said, that's how I like it. I like it like that. Because to me, that means a lot. So I look at your toes. If I just see your toes somehow and your nails are like this and the toes, I don't even concern about your fingers. I'm talking about your toes. It says a lot about you. If you see somebody with a big long leg, you know they don't wear shoes all the time, especially when they're in their house. Because when you wear shoes a lot, it keeps on putting it under control. Things as little as that says a lot about you. So when I stand in front of somebody, I stand confidently enough because I know that even if I'd had speech in my mouth all day, I've taken some tom-tom. I'm confident of what I'm wearing. I know I'm looking good. I know I'm wearing a nice shoe. Even if I had to deny myself to buy that shoe, because if I get those relationships, one day will come where I will not have to deny myself anymore, because what is not enough will become over sufficient. It's about what you wear, what you say, how you say it. I met somebody. I was in the airport one day, and I was trying to check in. I was flying. I was in London, flying out, and then they said to me, I heard the lady saying, one of the ladies on the counter saying to his colleague, our colleague, who is that woman that everybody, why are you all running after her and helping her to carry her bag and everything? She's not Nigerian. So she was wondering why they helping to carry her. So the other guy now said to him, that's the wife of our chairman. Oh, that's why you guys are helping her to carry her bag and do all the stuff for her. So I said, which woman, by the way? Sorry. He said that one. I said, can you please give my body pass? Window seat too. So I said, what's she wearing? I said, what's she carrying? I said, okay, no problem. So I went to the lounge, waiting. I went ahead of her. As I entered, I walked up to her. I said, hi, my name is Dayo Israel. You know, everybody there was standing and doing their thing. But see, I talked about that in, I think which of my was I saying what you know, which you, nameless hero. You understand? I walked up to her confidently and shook her hand, introduced myself, and began to talk. I told her what I did, what I heard that she does, and I, commended her for what she was doing. We exchanged BlackBerry pins, and today that woman, the chairman of a major international airline, is a friend of mine, very close, and she's also my BlackBerry. If I was not well dressed, I used to travel abroad wearing short knickers and V-neck around necks, just shirt. Before, I said, I'm going to scream on the plane, my dress will be dirty. But when I realized the people that I meet, that I create, I realized that everything about me affects the value that I had, and those are what builds into my confidence. Let me tell you this one thing before I give you the 7th point. You must never despise the little victories that you've made and your little achievements. So somebody said to me, you made me good luck, Jonathan. I actually went to President Jonathan. I said, sir, can you stand for a second? We need to have a picture. If you've ever seen my picture with President Jonathan, I met him a few times, at least about 7. But this particular picture that we had, I told him, God of Israel is my witness, to stand and let's take the picture. And I tell you this before God and man. And people look at me and say, how do you do that? I said, I've stood with the Queen, I've stood with presidents, I've stood with, other leaders. Why would I find it very, challenging to tell my president to stand for a picture? Why? Why did I say that? David went to King Saul and said, I brought down the lion and I brought down the tiger, so I don't think I will have a problem, and the bear. I don't think I will have a problem bringing down Goliath. In other words, you must never look down, thank you, sir, upon your little achievement, because every little achievement makes up where you are going to be tomorrow. That's why part of the scripture says that do not despise the days of little beginning. Thank you. So let me go to this. Number 1, remember that charisma is not just for movie stars, it's for everybody. Charisma is not just for movie stars, it's for everybody. You've got to be charismatic. It draws people to you and it attracts respect for you. It helps you get your message out there clearer. The way you stand, there's what we call the alpha male posture and the alpha female posture. You've got to be confident in the way your voice comes out. The way you move, they call it in Nigeria swag, but I call it confidence and charisma. The way you walk, I was telling my staff, I was complaining to my staff the last 3 days. I said, I just noticed that I started walking like my senator. He has a posture of walking that exudes confidence. And I realized I've been walking like him in the last 1 week. And I said, what? I won't want to walk like my senator, I want to walk like me. I also want to exude my confidence and charisma in my way of walking. It goes into even the way that you move. Shoulder high, confident enough. You see Barack Obama, you see confidence and charisma. I'm sorry, my president, Goodluck Jonathan, might be a PhD holder. I believe he's very intelligent, but maybe he lacks the charisma to be communicative. Maybe he lacks the charisma to communicate his intelligence and smartness. I think Nigerians a lot lacks charisma. I have hardly seen a Nigerian leader aside Olusegun Obasanjo that carries charisma. If you don't respect the man, just watch him walk. See the way he stands among the leaders of nations in his agbada, you will see confidence and charisma. They don't mess with him. If we're ever proud of a president in Nigeria, the charisma of Obasanjo made him feared by many. The way he moves and is working with retinue of staff very fast and is doing his agbada left and right, you see power. You dream and aspire to become a president. I'm telling you. But today we have many leaders who don't inspire you to be presidents. I have not seen, please convince me if there's any, that carries that charisma that inspires you in Nigeria. Since Obasanjo, I have not seen one. Huh? Maybe. There are very few of them. Yes, he has that charisma too. The Major Bankole has that charisma too. Oshomole doesn't have the charisma. He has a camaraderie, but it's not charisma. He's not charming enough to make you think, I'm the man.
What about the
No, he does not walk and does that with confidence. There's something about confidence and charisma that it doesn't. Luke is a great, fantastic, handsome man. Beauty does not translate into charisma. Luke is handsome, so he necessarily comes as gentle and charming, but he's not necessarily a charismatic person. That even if you're tired, you want to listen to him. You understand? You're drawn to him easily. People with charisma get respect and followership. If you want respect and followership, it starts with the level of your charisma, and also, at least, we're going to come back to what is in your head, but at least, even if you have something in your head, have it in your posture. Number 2, you need charisma irrespective of what line of business or journey you are into. For teaching, for selling, for speaking, for whatever you want to do in life. Even as a preacher. I'm sorry to say, somebody came to me 4 days ago, and I wish I didn't have to say this on record, and gave me a bundle of DVD of a pastor in Nigeria. Very famous pastor in Lagos. He holds 2 major conferences in Nigeria every year. I will not mention the name. I was excited. Oh, first time, let me listen to the gentleman. So on my way to office this morning, I put in the sermon, and I did not feel charisma in the voice I was hearing. And I was going to put, because it's a CD, 6 CD changer, I was going to put all of the CD in the CD. I did not put the rest, because I could not feel him in the way that he was speaking without seeing him. But even if you are asleep and you hear, I can never be poor, never. Bros, you will wake up. And you understand what I'm saying? He has the same message as this gentleman was preaching, but I will not buy that man's tape. I'm sorry. I love that Gio. I love the way he walks. Even his humble charisma alone is charming. You understand? But if you look at my never before pastor, you can tell without seeing him. Even the way he goes around on the stage, you are drawn to want to listen to him. That's what charisma does. It draws people. It attracts followership for you. It's related to assertion. Whatever you want, wherever you want to be, you need to be charismatic. Because being charismatic makes you effective. How does it make you effective? You are able to engage. You are able to inspire. And you are able to be confident. Being charismatic helps you engage with people. I can engage people irrespective of their age. I have a friend of mine. She is a senior person in one of the embassies in Nigeria. The first time we met, she reminded me that she was not my age mate. She just stylishly said that, to remind me that, when I said, oh, when you start getting old like that, so trying to tell me that, I'm older than you. She said, maybe it's in her 30s, almost 40. She's white. But about 3-4 weeks, a month later, this lady started inviting me to come for musical performance and to go out together and spend the evening together. Now, what has changed? Because one has exuded charisma and confidence that, see, it's not about age or anything. I'm a valuable asset. I'm a relationship that you need. It's very key and it's very important. It helps you engage people. It helps you inspire people. It helps you build confidence in people. If Obama says, we are going to put an end to terrorism and Boko Haram, you believe him in the way he said it. But if an African president from West Africa comes and says, we are doing our best to fight Boko Haram, not my president. Charisma, apart from helping you to be effective, helps you to communicate beyond words. Beyond words. Communication beyond words.
beyond words. It helps you become emotional. You have empathy and passion. You're able to network with people. One of my very great friends, major Nollywood star. He's a father in Nollywood. We met in the business class lounge of Virgin in London. We're both flying to Nigeria. And I walked up to him, introduced myself, I said, "Hi, this man is old enough to be my big uncle." And I just walked up to him like it didn't even matter. After we became friends, of course, I had a lot of respect to it. But we're in Britain, ladies and gentlemen. We were in Britain at that time. So, we were able to engage and we became good friends. That it was a time I was going to do a major project in Nigeria and I needed to gather together a lot of celebrities. And all he did was make a phone call to people. You're able to build confidence in people and build relationship and network where you're confident and charismatic. Let me round up with this, that it's more than what you say, but in how you say it. I've said that earlier. I want to say it again. It's more than what you say, it's how you say it. So relax. Relax. Learn to relax. I was sitting with an ambassador recently. And I sat down there, crossed my leg, put my back on the chair, and I was saying in my mind, something in my subconscious just told me that I'm just saying to this gentleman that I'm not a small boy, irrespective of my age. When you're a small boy, you sit at the edge of the chair and you are edgy. But when you sit confidently on the chair and you cross your leg, you've just told whoever you're sitting with, I'm somebody, I'm confident, and I'm a person of value. It goes into how you say it. Please come, sir. I'm sure you've heard it before. It goes into how you shake. How you shake is important. I need the ladies to come and shake me. Please, do me the honors. Give me a dinner handshake and a workplace professional handshake. Start with the dinner handshake.
Hi, my name is so nice to meet you.
It's a good start, but you can do better.
Okay.
Go back, please. And then, please. I'm standing in my alpha male posture, and you're coming, elegant, in your black dress. Keep coming. Yes. Ma'am, you should face your hand towards me first. If you see my picture with the queen, I was like this, and she was shaking me this way. Then there's a level at which I have to bend to. And then give me a professional handshake. Dayo. But you can do better. This has to bend here.
Okay.
Yes. And it has to be strong and firm. That tells me that you're confident. You want to try? It's great to meet you, Dayo. That's it. You understand? So when I greet you and I say, it's great to meet you, I shake people and they look at me in the face and think, you understand? It helps you. You have to relax. You have to look confident. You have to get in touch with people's emotion. That's why you see Obama go and attend an event and carry the people and shake them and hug them. You have to be able to be in touch with people's emotion. You have to be genuine. 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 You have to genuinely be affectionate. You have to match your body with your speech. You have to match your body with your speech. There's nothing as important as thinking before you speak. I also say sorry, I am comfortable with silence. When I sit with you, I don't necessarily think I have to talk. So if I want to say, just sit down. I'm comfortable to be pinging. I'm not antisocial. But see, when we get uncomfortable with silence, we now keep on talking and trying to keep the conversation going, and we start talking about rubbish. The next person can be bored. So when I'm talking to people, I'm trying to wonder if you're still in touch with my conversation. And if I see that, I just lead it to a silence, and I'm comfortable with the silence. If now you're uncomfortable, then start the conversation. Be comfortable with silence. Think before you speak. Speak with conviction. Speak with conviction. Speak with conviction. And above all, treat people the way they like to be treated. Let me tell you this. Your confidence and your charisma can give you greatness. Everybody followed Absalom, not because he was very intelligent, but because he was charming. His hair was long to his waist, and they said when he walks in Israel, everybody looks still with his shoulder high, confidently walking as a prince. And you're a prince and a king. For those of us who are of faith here, we know we're a royal priesthood, the holy nation, a peculiar person. So why don't you walk and move and galvanize like a confident royal priesthood? There's nothing that increases your confidence and your charisma as much as understanding who you are. I told you from the beginning, as much as you know what you carry. My confidence is built not in the people that I meet, not in the connection I've built, not in the place I've gone to, but in the ability. Nobody in this world can look down on me. Nobody. What is professional for all of us are different. So like I say, I deal a lot with, one of the reasons why I need confidence a lot is I walk in uncharted waters a lot. Most of my colleagues or people that I walk around are adults, professional, people old enough to be my father. I sit in a room with presidents or ambassadors or diplomats or people who on a usual day, if not for how God has blessed me or for what God has blessed me with, I would not have had access to them. So if I don't want them to look at me as this small boy, I've got to be able to exude enough confidence that I'm man enough to deal with you. So when I go into a meeting averagely, I would usually sit comfortable, rest my back, and put my leg. Now if you're going to apply for a job interview, you probably will not do that. Because that can be termed as overconfidence. I don't know if I'm making sense. Yes, so every assignment, wherever you find yourself, you might be going for a job interview in the afternoon and have to sit somehow, but in the evening you might go to your 5-star hotel to have a drink. Because no matter what level you are, you must still give yourself a high level of fun and value. And so I try at least once a weekend to go to if I have a favorite spot, I'll sit down, I'll do a boat ride, I'll sit on a nice cruise, and I just sit down and enjoy myself on the island. You must spoil yourself as much as you can. You must look at the mirror every morning, adjust your tie, adjust what you wear, and be confident I'm happy. Even if sometimes I'm not going anywhere, but I want to dress well. You must make yourself happy. You cannot afford to be in a relationship that you're not finding joy in, because that would affect your confidence. You cannot have friends that do not inspire you, do not encourage you, do not challenge you, because it will affect your confidence in yourself. You cannot be around family members who do not say anything good in what you are doing, because before you know it, you begin to think, am I doing the right thing? It affects your level of confidence. But when you are confident for what you wear, for people around you, from home, and people believe so much in you, when you get in front of the world, and you stand in front of somebody who is interviewing you for a job, hello, sir. There's even a respect. There's a way that you're charismatic, you're giving your respect. I say, next, and you come inside. I say, hello, sir. You know, the level at which you're not frustrating on the floor, but and the way you're still humble. You can put your hand behind your back like Prince Charles would do if you've seen him a lot. And still bow to a certain length. And if he stretches a hand to you and you shake him and he can feel your hand shake, that alone has passed a message to this person. And he said, please sit. And you sit down. You might not necessarily cross your leg. Maybe some of us have this. So I might cross my leg. Maybe because of the time of day I would also look for. I have to let them know that, see, I can do this. I'm not a small boy. You understand? So, and you sit down and you begin to talk. And they ask you questions. I said, let me tell you, even the way you talk in some places. Yes, when I speak, I talk very fast because I know I have limited time and I want to say a lot. I want to pour out a lot. I have that. But when I talk in some places, I pick my words.
I believe that we can make that happen. But one thing that we need to do is we would have to cut down on so and so. But do you get what I'm saying? Do you share my? I say, oh yes, fantastic, great one. When I talk to people nowadays, I realize that before I'm shy. So when I say I'll try or something, I tell you, I'm sorry, I can't do that. It's not appropriated for. I can't do this. You've got to have some level of confidence, but depends on what you do. The confidence is relative, but at least you must be happy with yourself.
Does that answer your question? Does satisfy your request?
Curiosity.
You just need to step on it and take it simple.
I'm comfortable to step out.
How long?
Just 2 minutes. But I wanted to add something to what they said. Do you know that you can be in an interview session and say, what is your work experience? The words that you say, your choice of words, the way you present it. I've had experience in managing a whole team before. I say in particular, I actually started over a project that we delivered so and so and so. Now you're talking with confidence. You're giving facts and statistics. You must talk like, say, sir. No. Don't be too meek or a coward. Respond with confidence and talk calmly and show that the worst that you won't get the job. But maintain your value. It's important. I think that's fine.
So I want to ask, at what level do you say someone is overconfident? And is there any such thing as overcome your confidence and it has now exceeded? So what's the level?
Two people determine overconfidence. The person who's looking at you and listening to you and yourself. You, for a start, must know, am I at the level at which am I overdoing it? Am I confident enough? And have I turned that confidence into arrogance and pride? So you can know and put it down. I'm sure you have a humble spirit and you have God inside, so you know when you are going out of the line. But you should concern about you, not about her. So I'll give you an example. I go somewhere and I walk in majestically and I do stuff, and somebody who has never been where I've been or who doesn't have my exposure will see what I do and think I'm confident. So I see a white man and I say, oh, hi Richard, how are you? Hey, just call him name. He's not enough to his father. Rob, I call my VC, Malcolm. Hey Malcolm, how are you? We're sitting together in the pub. Would you call your VC Unilag by first name? So you understand? So culture relates into what people. So some people actually see me and look at the way I walk and how I relate and how I have, to the glory of God, people around me. This stuff. But when they now get closer to me, they realize that. So I'm not convinced about what things I'm proud, or I'm prideful. I'm not convinced about them. It's their thoughts and assumption, and it just means to me that people can feel my level of confidence. You can't please everybody. Are we doing Q&A yet? Hello friends, it's been fantastic. I told you, we're fired up and we're ready to go. We've inspired people to go out here and become global change makers. They are going to live here with the fire to be able to make a difference in their generation and in this nation. We've built leaders that are charismatic, that are confident, and are going with a message to make the world a better place. If you were not here, you missed, so please get the DVD. And for those who were here, I wish you congratulations and the best of everything. And we would see you next year. Don't forget to seize the moment, because that's the only way to make a difference. God bless you.